Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Inerded Podcast. And I'm here to talk to you today about Digimon. There's been a lot of back and forth going on about Digimon here lately, because of the announcement of the 15th anniversary thing and this new season coming out, which is supposed to be the original Digidestin grown up in high school, I think, which is exciting. I really want to see that. Now, I'm about to give you my opinion about Digimon. In the comments down below, please give me yours. Keep it as civilized as possible, though. Let's be honest, it is the internet, so I don't have high expectations of that. But when it comes to Digimon, Digimon is the show that let me know that anime could be good. Growing up through the 90s and into the 2000s, Cartoon Network was not something that readily came available when it came to, like, cable. It took me a while to find things like that. Now, that being said, what I did have when I was younger were things like Kids WB and Fox Kids. Because, of course, there were certain things that I did see on, like, Kids WB. I watched Batman Beyond, Superman, and I had watched some things. I had watched Pokemon on TV, mostly because I had played the game, so I wanted to see how it goes, and I didn't particularly like it. Even when I watch it nowadays, it's something that I enjoyed seeing, but I do tend to find it rather boring. Digimon, now I know it was on Fox Kids, which probably was one of the big reasons for its downfall, and it didn't gain much in popularity. But it was when I caught Digimon that I really saw that there was this whole other side to animating. I got so used to seeing things like Batman and Superman and Batman Beyond. These were shows that still showed an American ideal. You know, Superman being the Boy Scout sort of iconic character. Batman with his loner things. The point I'm trying to make is that they still showed an American idea when it came to animation. And that's mostly what I grew up with because of the channels I was able to watch and is what could be marketed to me. It was always, American animation is the best. Now, Digimon came about on Fox, which it happened in a horrible time. It was around, like, Detective Dog or whatever that show was. And it was really good. Even when I was younger, let's face it, cartoons were stupid. And that point hasn't changed at all. Okay, US cartoons tended to be stupid. And that hasn't changed much at all. Digimon was the first anime that I ever really, like, sat down and just watched. It was weird because it let me into, like, a whole other world that I really had no clue about. Before Digimon, I had watched Pokemon and some of the Samurai Pizza Cats. When it comes to, like, what I think is anime, that was really it by that point. Because remember, like I said, Cartoon Network was not just readily available for you to get on any TV. So it was because of Digimon that I found out that there could be these really in-depth stories. These characters, which were really well fleshed out, could solve all of these problems, but as long as they could do it together. It was very rare that simply one person that took on the problem-solving aspect of it. And when that did happen, when it was just one person that decided they would be the one to figure it out, then that's when shit really got real. It's like, it was in the latter part of the very first season of Digimon. It was during the Edamon arc. And Tai was the only one that had found his crest. And they were in this coliseum, they were playing soccer and stuff. And then suddenly they were attacked and they were captured under an electric fence. So Tai forced Agumon to evolve. But his crest wasn't properly activated yet. So in order to do that, Tai forced Agumon to evolve, but because he thought he was going to be the only one that could, and it was up to him to protect everybody. So the consequence of that was that Greymon evolved into Skull Greymon, which was a horribly evil character, and it gave Tai the sort of complex, and he didn't want Agumon to evolve at all. So something like that. But on the times when they could work together to figure out the problem, it was always, the good thing. That is exactly where they needed to be. That is exactly what they needed to do. And it always worked out well. And, I don't know, Digimon introduced me to so many things that were not in any other cartoon that I watched. I mean, don't get me wrong, Batman and Superman could be really dark in terms of content. In fact, Batman the Animated Series was famous for that, and I loved it because of that. But let's face it, Batman the Animated Series didn't last too long, and that aspect of it kind of went away in the New Adventures of Batman. But Digimon really introduced me to something that I had kind of forgot was in cartoons, which was this idea of there is death. There was recreation, there was good and evil, light and dark. There were problems. Like, there were points in the show where the Digidestined were, like, starving. They had to overcome everything in order to build up to where they were, these great protectors of the digital world and the real world. And some of the themes that they dealt with, like biblical things. Like, even with Myotismon, it was supposed to be like their take on Revelations. It was like the mark of the time of the beast would be the one that brought him forth. It was like 6 seconds and 6 minutes after 6 o'clock. It's like, holy crap. I'm sorry, this was, I would say, around 2000 or so when this happened. And I don't know of any other shows that even dealt with things like that. Again, it was just these things you don't normally see in cartoons. Especially those they wanted to keep just for younger kids. And that's exactly how they marketed Digimon. They kind of brought it in on, like, piggybacked it with Pokemon. And Digimon, it kind of had a Tamagotchi type of beginning. And Tamagotchi V-Pets, that sort of things. They were like digital monsters that you could battle together. They had a card game, which I was one of the few people that I knew of that even bothered to learn how to play it. But it was really fun, especially when you were with somebody who actually knew how to play it. It was a fun card game. The PlayStation games, yeah, that was... Okay, let's just say the games in general, the video games in general, leave a lot to be desired. And, you know, I'm not fighting that. It's absolutely true. But yeah, Digimon turned me on to the idea that anime could be really good. And from Digimon, it's like I just went leaps and bounds into it. It was just like all anime all the time by that point. Anime and manga. And I had read comic books up through the 90s. I still read comic books. Collect, sell, trade them. I still do all that. But it wasn't until Digimon that I actually got interested in, like, that whole side of things. So there wasn't really any other reason for me to think about it, so I never really bothered getting into it before until I watched Digimon on Fox Kids. And since I first watched Digimon, there was no stopping me from that point. It was soon after I started watching Digimon that Cartoon Network came on basic cable packages around the area that I lived in. So I was able to catch other things. You know, there was the Toonami block, there was all sort of other things to see. So from Digimon, I gained a greater love of Pokemon, fell in love with Yu-Gi-Oh! But then I started watching Dragon Ball Z, Rurouni Kenshin, Cowboy Bebop, FLCL. And the list just goes on and on. Truth is, I wouldn't like anime as much as I do today if it wasn't for Digimon. And I invite you to give your thoughts and opinions. What was your first anime that you came across that really let you know that this was something you wanted to continue to watch? Or what are your thoughts about Digimon and Pokemon, or Yu-Gi-Oh! For that matter? They're all kind of the same monster genre type stuff. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, and I will catch you guys next time.